The entire fandom froze when that ultrasound hit Instagram. A private scan, something meant for family eyes only, was suddenly everywhere. One photo of MALINE Perez, hand on her belly, changed everything for 90 Day Fiance fans. Within hours, Luke Barry's name was trending, and every fan page was screaming the same thing: "She's pregnant? I'm Sabrina, and you're watching TLC Drama Live." If you haven't already, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments what went through your mind when you first saw that photo. Shock, happiness, or something that didn't sit right? Because here's the thing, this moment split the fandom in half. On one side, joy, people celebrating new life, calling it proof that real love still wins. On the other, unease. How did a private medical record leak? Who posted it first? And is there such a thing as privacy once you sign up for reality TV? Was this leak a sweet surprise or a complete invasion? Who had access to something this personal? And why do fans feel like they have the right to know everything about their favorite couples' lives? Every answer opens another question, and every celebration hides a cost. The ultrasound wasn't the end of the story, it was the spark. Because once the images went public, the fandom didn't calm down. It exploded. Luke and MALINE weren't the flashiest pair on 90 Day Fiance. They didn't scream at each other on camera or throw drinks across tables. Luke came across as calm, maybe too calm at times, the kind of guy who avoids drama but can't always hide what he feels. He fumbled through cultural mix-ups, sometimes saying the wrong thing but trying hard to learn. MALINE, on the other hand, carried the warmth. Emotional, open, and patient, she was often the one smoothing tension when scenes got uncomfortable. Fans watched them sit through awkward family dinners where silence said more than words. They watched MALINE defending their relationship when relatives questioned motives. They watched Luke struggle with visa stress, promising he'd make it work no matter how long it took. The tone of their story was never chaos, it was effort. Honest, clumsy effort. That made people trust them. They didn't seem like they were playing for screen time or spinning drama for a bigger following. They looked like two real people trying to merge lives while cameras rolled. In a show packed with breakups and fake apologies, Luke and MALINE became something rare, a couple fans rooted for without irony. Over time, the audience built its own fairytale around them. Every episode felt like watching love survive modern pressure. Fans said things like, "If they can make it, anyone can." Their story gave people hope that 90 Day Fiancé could still show genuine connection instead of scripted chaos. So when the pregnancy leak happened, it didn't feel like tabloid gossip. It felt personal. Viewers acted like close friends hearing long-awaited news. The ultrasound wasn't just proof of a baby, it was proof that their belief in love hadn't been wasted. But that kind of devotion comes with a cost. When millions start treating a couple as symbols of hope, what happens when that couple tries to live a private life again? Is it sweet that fans care so deeply, or dangerous when admiration turns into ownership? It started on a quiet morning. No teaser, no announcement, no TLC promo. Just a blurry photo, uploaded to a small Instagram page that usually reposted behind-the-scenes clips. Within an hour, that single post became the most shared image in the 90 Day Fiancé fandom. MALINE Perez was standing in soft light, one hand resting on her belly, smiling in a way fans had never seen before. Next to her was an ultrasound report. The name was partly visible. It looked real, not staged. The comments section filled faster than anyone expected. Fans tagged each other in disbelief. Some thought it was a prank. Others said they'd been waiting for this moment since the tell-all, but it didn't stop there. Bigger fan pages grabbed the post and added captions like, "Confirmed, MALINE's pregnant." Gossip accounts reposted it with flashy emojis. Then entertainment blogs picked it up, calling it a sweet surprise for fans. Within hours, the same photo had crossed platforms and turned into a headline. Another video surfaced soon after, showing Luke standing beside MALINE, his hand brushing her shoulder as she talked to someone off camera. He looked proud and protective. She looked calm, glowing, content. There was no trace of scandal in their faces, only real joy. Yet the way the internet consumed those moments felt invasive. A private milestone, meant for their families, had been turned into public property. Ultrasound images don't wander online by themselves. They come from clinics, phones, or people trusted enough to have access, which means this leak wasn't an accident. Someone made a choice. Someone close enough to the couple, or the medical team, decided this news belonged to the internet before it belonged to Luke and MALINE. Within 24 hours, the story had traveled farther than any official TLC post that week. Every gossip blog, every reaction channel, every comment thread was repeating the same two words: "It's real." But the shock didn't come from the pregnancy itself. The real twist was how fans reacted once they realized the truth. Many admitted the leak felt wrong, yet they couldn't stop sharing it. The reaction came fast and loud. Within hours, the pregnancy leak became the happiest headline fans had seen all year. The comment sections read like a festival. People wrote how Luke was finally getting the family he deserved, how Maline looked stronger and more radiant than ever. Every post overflowed with hearts, confetti emojis, and emotional stories from viewers who said they'd followed this couple since day one. Luke was called the definition of a supportive partner. Maline was praised as the kind of woman who handled fame with grace. TikTok edits appeared overnight, cutting together scenes from their early episodes with the leaked ultrasound photo. Music swelled, text flashed across the screen, "True love wins." Instagram collages paired old clips of the couple crying at airports with new images of Maline's baby bump. Fans captioned them like proud relatives, as if this pregnancy was a collective victory. The line between viewer and participant blurred. That's the power of parasocial connection. When people spend months watching two strangers fall in love, fight, and make up, it starts to feel personal. Viewers share their stress, their relief, their hope. So when a baby enters the picture, it doesn't feel like celebrity news, it feels like family news. Fans congratulated them with real emotion, as if they'd watched their own friends grow into parents. Then slowly, the guilt crept in. Some fans admitted they hesitated before liking the post. They knew ultrasound files don't belong online. They knew this wasn't a public announcement. Still, they tapped the heart icon, shared the link, saved the photo. They told themselves it was harmless because they meant well, because they loved them, because everyone else was doing it. That conflict spread quietly through comment sections, excitement mixed with unease. People celebrated the love story while ignoring how that story reached them. The same joy that united the fandom also came from a breach of trust. So the question lingers, when you double tap a leaked ultrasound, are you cheering for the couple you adore, or rewarding the person who stole their privacy? The next wave came from the media. Within a single news cycle, the same photos that started on a fan page appeared on entertainment sites with polished headlines. "Love triumphs again," one article read. Another called it a fairytale ending for Luke and Maline. Almost no one used the word leak. The story was rewritten as a celebration, not a breach. Every outlet used the same ingredients. The leaked ultrasound image. A short clip of Maline and Luke smiling from an old episode. Quotes pulled from previous interviews where they talked about family dreams. Then came the soft narration. Phrases like, "Their journey has come full circle," and "fans' prayers answered." It was glossy, sentimental, and safe. It made a private invasion feel like a public blessing. Behind that tone was a simple formula. Leaks mean clicks, clicks mean ad money. The faster a story spreads, the more value it brings. So editors face a quiet decision every time a private image lands in their inbox: protect the subject or publish before someone else does. Most picked the second option. They chose traffic over ethics, reshaping the story into a love victory instead of asking how the files appeared online in the first place. The result was a news cycle that looked sweet but felt hollow. Media sites claimed to respect their privacy while running the leaked photo at the top of the page. Viewers scrolled through headlines that looked caring but were built on stolen content. It worked. The clicks poured in. But the question stayed the same. Do you still trust outlets that profit from a leak while pretending they're protecting the people it hurts? Understood. When expanding each part, I will write only the clean narration text. No act titles, no headings, no retention or cliffhanger labels, no stage directions, and no inserted commentary. The voice will stay continuous, natural, and formatted purely as a spoken story. Social media turned this story into a wildfire. Instagram, TikTok, fan pages, all of them acted like accelerants. These platforms aren't neutral, they thrive on emotion. The more a post makes people feel, the faster it spreads. A pregnant 90-day star hits every trigger: love, surprise, nostalgia, validation. The algorithm saw joy and ran with it. Within hours, Maline's private moment became public entertainment. Clips from old episodes were stitched with the ultrasound photo. TikTok creators added sentimental soundtracks. Influencer pages reposted the leak under the label breaking news. Each repost blurred the original source a little more, until no one could trace where it began. It stopped feeling like a breach and started feeling like a natural update in the 90-day storyline. That's how fast sharing normalizes invasion. By the time a few fans started asking if these pictures should even be online, the question was already too late. The images had jumped across thousands of accounts. You couldn't delete them without erasing half the internet. Nobody knew who posted them first, and nobody wanted to be the one to stop the celebration. For Luke and Maline, each repost must have felt like losing control again. Every view, every caption, every new comment was a reminder that something intimate had slipped beyond their reach. A pregnancy they might have wanted to share gently, maybe with family first or in their own time, had been repackaged into content. What should have been an announcement became exposure. And while everyone online raced to comment, react, and speculate, two people stayed calm. Luke and Maline said nothing. No statement, no denial, no complaint. Their silence became louder than any headline, forcing fans to pause and ask what they were really celebrating. Once the dust settled, attention shifted to one uncomfortable question. How did a private ultrasound make it online in the first place? No one had proof, but theories multiplied. Maybe a staff member on the production team. Maybe someone at the clinic who had access to the scans. Maybe a trusted friend who thought sharing would make them popular for a day. Some even whispered about a hacked account. There were too many paths, all possible, none confirmed. What mattered wasn't who clicked upload, but how easily the boundary was crossed. Inside the fandom and media circles, the arguments started fast. One side claimed that when you sign up for reality TV, privacy ends. Every fight, every tear, every confession is content, so why draw the line now? The opposing view hit harder. Medical information isn't a storyline, it's protected data. Fame doesn't cancel out human rights. Even people used to being on camera deserve a private space for life-changing news. In my opinion, both sides miss something deeper. Being on a show doesn't mean the audience owns every chapter forever. Viewers are invited to watch moments, not inherit lives. The line between public and private keeps shifting, but it still exists. Fame might blur it, yet it doesn't erase consent. From my view, privacy should reset once filming ends. No one should have to sacrifice every future milestone because of a TV contract signed years ago. While fans argued about ethics and entitlement, Luke and Maline quietly did something unexpected. It wasn't a post or a statement, but a decision that showed who they truly were, and it spoke louder than any leaked image ever could. Luke and Maline's response, or lack of one, became the most powerful move in the entire situation. They didn't sell their side to magazines, didn't post a Notes app statement, didn't accuse anyone of betrayal. They stayed quiet. In a world where most reality stars rush to defend, explain, or monetize every scandal, that silence felt almost revolutionary. The choice to say nothing wasn't weakness, it was control. It told the audience they weren't playing the fame game this time. Their calm forced the story to slow down. Without their reaction to feed on, gossip pages had nothing new to spin. The couple's privacy started to rebuild itself, one unposted day at a time. Their behavior matched what fans already knew about them. Luke had always come across as grounded, a little reserved, more focused on stability than spectacle. Maline was expressive but measured, protective of her emotions even when producers tried to pull more out of her. On screen and off, they looked the same. That consistency made fans believe their silence wasn't strategic, it was authentic. They seemed more focused on their baby than on correcting a headline. Still, the human side can't be ignored. Pregnancy is already a mix of joy, fear, and physical exhaustion. Add the weight of a public leak, and you get an entirely different kind of stress. Every time Maline opened her phone, she saw strangers debating her body. Every time Luke logged in, he read thousands of people discussing his child before he had even shared the news himself. The pressure must have been unreal. Their restraint under that pressure says more than any interview could. They didn't need to post proof of happiness. They showed it by protecting peace. The real test now isn't whether fans adore them, it's whether that same audience will still support them if they decide to step away from the spotlight once their baby arrives. What happened to Luke and Maline isn't rare anymore. In 90-day culture, every major life event becomes public property. Pregnancies, breakups, lawsuits, family fights, none of it stays behind closed doors once the cameras stop rolling. Viewers have seen cast members announce divorces live, post sonograms on their stories, even argue about child support on TikTok. The line between reality TV and real life has nearly vanished. The shows train audiences to expect that access. Confessionals are filmed like therapy sessions. Tell-alls reward drama over boundaries. Social media extends the experience, giving fans live updates between seasons. The pattern teaches viewers to believe they're part of the story, not just watching it. When every episode ends on a cliffhanger, fans look to Instagram for the next scene. They don't wait for TLC, they scroll. That conditioning is why Luke and Maline's pregnancy leak spread so fast. Fans didn't hesitate to share, comment, or repost because they were already used to being inside these people's lives. It felt normal. Their baby news became another chapter in a collective fan narrative that never stops. But when you step back, that reaction says more about us than about them. How far should this access go? What if it was your ultrasound being reposted by strangers? Would it still feel harmless? Would you still call it love from fans, or would it start to feel like a crowd taking ownership of your happiness? The pregnancy leak isn't only a story about one couple, it's a mirror held up to every viewer who clicked share. And in the final part, we'll look at what this moment reveals about where reality TV couples are headed next, and what that future might cost them. Luke and Maline's story brought everything full circle. Fans fell for them because their love looked real in a world full of scripted chaos. The leak turned that love into a public celebration, but also into a moral test for everyone watching. A private ultrasound became a viral post. A sacred moment became entertainment. And yet, through all of it, they never lashed out, never fed the noise, never shifted focus from what mattered most, their child. It's easy to forget that behind every headline is a human heartbeat. Pregnancy should be one of the safest, most personal chapters in life, not a trending topic built from stolen files. The fandom meant well. The love was real. But sometimes, good intentions cross the line. Real support doesn't come from spreading leaks or speculating online. It comes from patience, respect, and letting the people you admire set their own pace. From my view, Luke and Maline's silence wasn't distance, it was dignity. It reminded everyone that privacy is still possible, even in reality TV, if you fight for it quietly. Their story proves that strength doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like peace. So if you love this couple, show it by respecting what they don't share, not just cheering for what they let you see. Because the truest kind of support doesn't come from watching everything, it comes from knowing when to stop watching. And as this chapter closes, another one waits. Another 90-day pair is about to face the same storm, different story, same cycle. Their personal milestone is already turning into public chaos. Stay close, because what happens next could change how every couple handles fame forever.